Who did? She left, she drove off. I think I'm dying.
Across East 36th Street, about the 2-month-old twins have been taken by whoever shot her.
2-month-old twins were taken.
Yes! You been shot? What? Who took the kids?
This documentary contains detailed accounts of a shooting and infant abduction. All events depicted are real and occurred on May 11, 2021, in Savannah, Georgia. All individuals have been convicted in a court of law. Viewer discretion is advised. Before we begin, if this case is new to you, I need you to watch all the way through. Because the detail that broke this case open in under 4 hours is something almost every mother watching already has in her home and does not think twice about. It was hiding in plain sight. Just like the woman who did this. Subscribe, drop a comment, and let us get into it. At 10:20 in the morning on May 11, 2021, a 911 dispatcher in Savannah, Georgia received a call, a woman's voice, frantic, barely coherent. She said, "She took my kids and shot me." She left. She drove off. "I think I'm dying." Inside a home on Northeast 36th Street, officers would find Gabrielle Rogers, 23 years old. A new mother on the floor with 3 gunshot wounds to the head, chest, and leg. Her 6-week-old twin sons, Matto and Lorenzo, were gone. The woman who took them had introduced herself months earlier as a nurse, a fellow new mom, someone who wanted to help. Her name was Kathleen Daniels. It was not her real name. Savannah, Georgia in late spring is a city draped in Spanish moss and morning heat. It sits on the coast, unhistoric, slow-moving in its daily rhythms, the kind of city where neighborhoods feel like something permanent. Gabrielle Rogers was 23 years old. She was living in a modest home on Northeast 36th Street with her sister. 6 weeks before the morning of May 11th, she had given birth to twin boys. Their names were Matto and Lorenzo. She was doing what new mothers do. She was exhausted. She was figuring it out day by day. She had set up a nursery. She had installed a nanny camera to keep an eye on the babies when she was in another room. And she had joined a Facebook group for new moms in the Savannah area, looking, like most new parents do, for community, for people who understood what those first 6 weeks feel like. That was where she met Kathleen. Kathleen had introduced herself as a nurse who worked at Memorial Hospital. She said she was a mother herself. She seemed warm. She seemed helpful. She offered things, advice, baby formula, the kind of practical kindness that a new mother in over her head gratefully accepts. They had met in person the previous Thursday. They had gone to a park together. There was a photograph captured by the home security camera. Kathleen leaving that day, walking toward a white car. That photograph would matter more than anyone could have known at the time. Angela Kathleen Montgomery was also 23 years old. She lived in Rincon, Georgia, a small city in Effingham County, about 20 miles northwest of Savannah. She had a boyfriend. She had a house in the Lost Plantation neighborhood. From the outside, her life looked ordinary. But at some point in early 2021, Montgomery had begun targeting new mothers on Facebook. She was working the mommy groups, creating a false persona, building trust with women who had recently given birth, inserting herself into their lives under a name that was not hers. Kathleen Daniels was not her real name. She claimed to work at Memorial Hospital. She did not work at Memorial Hospital. She claimed to be a nurse. She was not a nurse. Every piece of her identity that she presented to Gabrielle Rogers was invented. What investigators would later find at her home in Rincon was a calendar. On May 8th, 3 days before the attack, the word twins had been written in the date box. This was not impulsive. This was planned. After her arrest, Montgomery would claim that she had previously been pregnant with twins and miscarried early in the pregnancy. Whether that is true and whether it contributed to what happened is something no one has been able to answer definitively. What the evidence does answer is exactly what she did. At some point before 10:20 a.m., Angela Montgomery drove from Rincon to Savannah. She came to the home on Northeast 36th Street. She came through the back door. The nanny camera positioned in the front of the home showed no sign of her arrival. But Gabrielle's sister confirmed that people who were familiar with the house used the back entrance. Montgomery had been there before. She knew the layout. She had brought baby formula. That was the pretext for the visit. At 10:20 a.m., Savannah police received the 911 call. When officers arrived at Northeast 36th Street, they found Gabrielle Rogers on the floor of her home. She had been shot 3 times, once in the head, once in the chest, once in the leg. She was conscious. She was able to speak. She told them the babies were gone. She told them a name, Kathleen Daniels. She described the white car. Mato and Lorenzo, 6 weeks old, were somewhere inside that car, moving away from everything they had ever known. Savannah police issued an Amber Alert immediately. The description: a black female, possibly named Kathleen, traveling in a white sedan, possibly a Kia Optima, with 6-week-old twin boys in the vehicle. Police Chief Roy Minter would later describe what happened next as an all-hands-on-deck approach. Every available detective, every partner agency, every patrol unit in the area was mobilized. State, local, and federal resources were brought in within the first hour. Inside the home on Northeast 36th Street, investigators were working quickly. They pulled up the nanny camera footage. They found the Facebook mommy group where Kathleen Daniels had first made contact with Gabrielle. They looked for her in the group and found a profile, posts about twins, a request for a baby photographer. But there were no comments matching the name Kathleen Daniels. No one in the group recognized the name. No formula offer anywhere in her post history. The name was fake. The profile was a construction, and whoever had built it had not used her real identity. A team went to Memorial Hospital, the place the suspect had claimed to work. They showed staff a photograph pulled from the home security footage. Nobody recognized her. The real employee, named Kathleen Daniels, worked on the 5th floor and did not match the description at all. The lead they had was a photograph, a white car, and a direction of travel toward Effingham County. And then one detective recognized her. Gabrielle's sister, who was home during the incident, handed over a security camera image to the investigators that showed Kathleen leaving the house and heading towards a white car. A detective from the Savannah Police Department took a look at the photo and recognized her, not as Kathleen Daniels, but by a different name he had seen in the department's files, Angela Montgomery. This recognition flipped everything on its head. Angela Kathleen Montgomery was 23 years old and lived in Rincon, Georgia, specifically on St. Andrews Road in the Lost Plantation neighborhood. Immediately, SWAT was called into action and a team was dispatched to her address. There had been numerous community tips that pointed towards Effingham County, which lined up with the new information investigators had gathered. By 2:30 p.m., just a little over 4 hours after the 911 call, the SWAT team made it to the Rincon location. When they interviewed Angela Montgomery, she claimed she had no clue what was going on. She insisted she hadn't been at Northeast 36th Street, hadn't shot anyone, and hadn't taken any children. Then she mentioned her twin sister, Destiny. According to Angela, they were adopted separately and reunited when they were 12. Destiny had reached out to her that morning, asking to meet at the hospital. Angela said she had only taken the babies from her sister without understanding what was happening. She swore that was the truth. But here's the twist. Angela Montgomery doesn't have a twin sister. Destiny doesn't exist. Investigators found no evidence of any sibling or adoption records to back up her story. What they did uncover was a calendar in her home marked with the word twins. For May 8th, just 3 days before the incident, along with a .40 caliber pistol found in the closet where she was hiding, which was confirmed as the firearm used to shoot Gabrielle Rogers. The team searched the house carefully. The garage was clear, and each room was checked off as clear until they finally found the babies. Over the radio, one word echoed 3 times. Jackpot! 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 Mato and Lorenzo Rogers were alive and unharmed. The 6-week-old boys had been taken from their home that morning and were now safe in the arms of the officers. Angela Montgomery was discovered hiding in a closet, still with the same .40 caliber pistol used in the shooting. The infants were taken to the hospital for a checkup and were given a clean bill of health. It took just 4 hours and 10 minutes from the 911 call to ensure both babies were safe. Montgomery's profile paints a complex picture, hinting at a condition known as fetal abduction, often tied to severe psychological distress related to pregnancy. Women grappling with this experience typically endure a profound sense of loss, whether real or perceived, driving them to desperate measures in search of an infant. Montgomery's reported history of miscarrying twins, if accurate, situates her within this unsettling framework. Yet this framework alone cannot account for the meticulous planning that unfolded. The crafted identity, the methodical cultivation of trust with Gabrielle Rogers through numerous face-to-face encounters, and the chilling calendar entry marking twins just days before the incident. These elements reveal not just a person in turmoil, but one engaged in a calculated preparation. The legal verdict of guilty but mentally ill acknowledges this intricate reality. It affirms that she committed the act, recognized its wrongness, and simultaneously battled a significant mental health issue. These truths can coexist, creating a complex narrative. However, the verdict leaves unanswered questions. How many other mothers did she reach out to before Gabrielle? Were there earlier targets? Was Gabrielle the first or merely the first to survive? Currently, Angela Kathleen Montgomery is serving a 30-year sentence in the Georgia Department of Corrections. Only 25 years old as this account is penned. Meanwhile, Gabrielle Rogers has emerged from her ordeal. After undergoing multiple surgeries post-shooting, she has made a remarkable recovery and returned home to her sons, Matto and Lorenzo, now 4 years old. Gabrielle has opted to keep her story largely private, a choice she is entirely entitled to make. Matto and Lorenzo were merely 6 weeks old when they were taken from their home, yet they were safely recovered on the same day. They do not recall the traumatic event. Their mother, however, bears the weight of those agonizing 4 hours. Uncertain of her son's fate, they are alive and well now. Gabrielle, seeking connection in a new mother's Facebook group, inadvertently opened her life to a stranger, a woman who had spent months fabricating a false identity to gain access to what she desired. The Facebook group served as the doorway, while an offer of baby formula became the key to her chilling intentions. The question this case leaves us with is one that the court could not answer, and the investigation could not answer, and Angela Montgomery's own statements full of invented sisters and borrowed grief could not answer. She built a false name, she planned the date, she learned the layout, she came through the back door so the camera would not see her. Was this the first time she had done something like this, or only the first time she was caught? Leave your answer in the comments below, and subscribe, because next week we are covering another case that begins the same way this one does. With a stranger, a screen, and a trust that should never have been given.